Morning, boys and girls. How are you today? So I want to ask the adults a question first. So, how many of you have some sort of fear? Can you raise your hands? Now look at that. How many of you kids have some sort of fear? Can you tell me some of the things you might be afraid of?
Bears.
Okay, that's a good one.
I only have one thing, and it's giant rattlesnakes.
Giant rattlesnakes. Okay, who else?
The dark.
The dark, okay.
Wolves.
Wolves? Okay, so I grew up in the country, and there were lots of things that I could have been afraid of, but I remember being a little kid, about probably younger than you, Mason. How old are you? Who here is 5? I think I was about 5. Okay. So my cousin and I and my sister, we went down to the creek, and it was quite a ways from the house. It was out of the mill area. I say that because my dad had a sawmill. And it was a ways from the house, and my cousin needed to go to the bathroom. So my sister and my cousin took off for home. And I said, well, I'll just stay here and wait for you. They're like, there's cougars out here. I'm like, I know that, but I'm not afraid. So they take off for the house, quite a ways away, and this little voice said, there might be cougars out here. And so I started to get afraid, and then I thought, wait a second, Jesus is with me. I don't need to be afraid. And so I chose not to be afraid. So what I'm saying is, when we have fears, we can either give in to them, or we can ask Jesus to help us not have them, help us to overcome them. Do you understand? So when I was out there as a little kid, I remember they took forever, so I'm like, well, if they're not coming back out here, I'm just going to go back home. So as I'm walking home, Satan wanted to tempt me again to be afraid, and I just started singing, and I chose not to be afraid. So if me, a little tiny kid, can do that, I just want to encourage you guys to do that, and the adults, to build a new pathway in our brain so we choose not to be afraid of anything. Because this is what the Bible says. Can you read this text? Your mic's on.
I sought the Lord.
This is Psalm 34:4.
Okay. I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears.
Does it say, I sought the Lord, and he answered me and delivered me from some of my fears? All my fears. Isn't that amazing? So I'm sure that I have some fears that the Lord hasn't showed me that I'm fearful of, but when he does, I hope I will seek him so that he can deliver me from even those fears. The fear of spiders. I'm bigger than they are. The fear of giant rattlesnakes. My brother used to catch them and bring them home. All kinds of things. So we can choose to trust in the Lord and not be afraid, okay? Can you guys remember to do that? Okay, thank you. You can go back to your seats.